Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown. It's our special break-in. What's the date going to be? July 18th?
Yep.
So July 18th, I'm not actually here, but we're here now.
This technically will take place the day of Slammiversary.
Yes. So we were talking in our rec of the week last week. We gave you guys Wrestlemania 18, and it's because he and I had this really in-depth conversation the other night about what would have happened if Owen Hart hadn't passed away. Owen Hart not passing away leads to a lot of things not occurring the way they did. Vince Russo doesn't end up leaving the WWF, which means he doesn't take over creative for WCW. Blah, 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 blah. It's the
Montreal Screwjob doesn't happen.
It's the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Everything goes the way it's supposed to go. So, we decided to fantasy book a WrestleMania 18 Supercard after the acquisition of WCW. When all of the talent contracts are available and the teams are the teamsters are there and they're all ready to work, this is my supercard. In no particular order, but I'm gonna work back as best I can to try to build up to my main event. But I'll tell you what my main event's gonna be when my main event gets there. My opening match is gonna be Billy Kidman and Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title.
Solid. I see title match. Solid.
Hardcore opener with Billy Kidman. Surprising snake in the wind.
So it's going to be a hardcore match?
No, I mean like a hard-hitting
gotcha.
with Billy Kidman snake in the wind on Jericho and taking the IC title. Because in this fantasy world, William Regal was not the Intercontinental Champion. It was Chris Jericho. And he defends against Billy Kidman, and Billy Kidman gets this great big pop. Now, we're going to move on to a TLC match.
Ooh, okay.
Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus 3 Count.
Okay.
3 Count was a tag team in WCW, kids. Do your homework!
Which are incarnation? Which 2 of the 3?
I don't know. All 3 of them will be involved in some form, though, so it doesn't really matter. With Edge and Christian taking the win to continue in the tradition of them winning the TLC matches. Because I love them. Now, on the original real WrestleMania 18 card, there was a great big fatal 4-way tag team match.
Yes.
I'm changing it up. I'm keeping a great big fatal 4-way tag team match. But I'm taking the APA against the Steiner Brothers.
Okay.
Against the Dudley Boys.
Okay.
Against Harlem Heat.
Nice.
Because Booker T doesn't walk out of WCW World Champion if Vince Russo's not there.
Correct.
So, the winners, however, for this great big hard-hitting fatal 4-way tag match, the Steiner Brothers. Because they're old school, they're legit, they put the beating on a folks.
That would be a great match.
An I Quit match.
Okay.
Ric Flair versus Raven. Ooh. Ric Flair would have been in WCW at the time of the acquisition closing anyway. But
Correct.
Ric Flair would have come to the WWF much sooner.
Well, he was already on the actual WrestleMania 18 card.
So Ric Flair deflecting back to the WWF is the perfect buffer against Raven, giving Raven some legitimacy against him as a viable opponent with Raven, making Ric Flair say, I quit, with interference from Roddy Piper. You're welcome.
Nice.
Yeah, see? Thinking ahead. 6-man tag match.
Okay.
Triple H and the New Age Outlaws.
Okay.
DX versus the NWO. Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall with X-Pac as the special guest referee.
Oh yeah.
Because he's part of the NWO, he's part of DX, he's part of the clique. It comes down to X-Pac deciding who's going to win. And of course, fuck the NWO. He joins back up with DX.
Of course.
Because
Hogan.
Because of Hogan. But in this universe, Hogan doesn't wrestle The Rock. Because the People's Champ is wrestling the People's Champ with The Rock versus DDP. Who's better than Canyon? Bang! And I'm going where no man thought to go. I'm putting DDP over.
Nice.
I'm putting DDP, go hit that diamond cutter daddy. Go get that blood money, Jack. That's right.
Sounds good, man.
DDP, baby. The Icon. Sting.
Okay.
Against the Phenom. The Undertaker. Now, this would have been American Badass era Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
But This would have been the storyline that vaults Undertaker returning to his supernatural roots a year early to challenge Sting.
Yeah.
Taker, of course, beating Sting at his inaugural WrestleMania to maintain the streak.
Okay.
Because that's how we get down. The excellence of execution against the Olympic gold medalist. If Owen doesn't die, Bret Hart comes back. Bret Hart comes back to the WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it at the time. And of course, the biggest opposition in his way is the only guy who can technically out-wrestle him. And that's Kurt Angle, baby. And of course, Kurt Angle wins with the ankle lock.
Yeah.
Because your sharpshooter's a piece of shit. You do the Scorpion Deathlock wrong. Alright, my semi-main event. The match of matches. The match that everybody want to see, baby. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Goldberg.
Fantastic.
Goldberg's streak never ends in WCW. He is undefeated all the way out the door. His year contract comes due. They come a knocking with money a couple years earlier than they had originally expected to. Goldberg signs and remains undefeated. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Does he break the streak? No. Goldberg beats Stone Cold in the middle of the ring with a spear and a jackhammer. 1, 2, 3, daddy. Now my main event. The big one. Current reigning and defending World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion Owen Hart defends his championship against the returning Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in a main event that takes over from the fact that once again with Owen not having passed, Bret comes back. But Shawn comes back a little healthier, a little earlier, and they built the storyline around the fact that Shawn screwed Bret. But Bret's busy with Angle, so Owen is stepping up, with Owen Hart successfully defending and retaining his World Heavyweight Championship against the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, at WrestleMania 18.
Solid card.
That is... I know we left a ton of names off. We limited it to 10 matches, and you could have done any one of these in any other way.
There is some matches that you have that I have.
Of course. Because those are dream matches.
Different ways.
Right.
But to let the people know, mine was done separately from yours. This is the first time we're hearing
we
either
didn't
one.
know. We didn't know what each other booked. Stay tuned, because Luke's going to give you his Fantasy WrestleMania 18 card right after this.